Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about Qi'ra and Crimson Dawn. Born in 31 BBY, Qi'ra was a young human woman who hailed from the planet Corellia and grew up on the streets during the Clone Wars and the reign of the First Galactic Empire. She had become friends with Han Solo and did a lot of great things together. But when her friend was recruited by Garish Shrike to join the band of vagabonds, she remained separated from him over the years, even during the First Galactic War. At the age of 18, in 13 BBY, she continued working for the White Worms, led by Lady Proxima. There she reunited with her old childhood friend Han Solo, who had just won a race against Dengar in the Agrelite region a short time ago, taking his time off away from Shrike and stealing a vial of coaxium. After having a confrontation with Lady Proxima Deval, Qi'ra and Solo attempted to escape through the Imperial control zone. Using the coaxium to bribe the officer, just as Solo got through, Qi'ra was suddenly captured by the gang, and the gate closed as Solo promised to come back for her. Qi'ra lived an even more difficult life after being captured again by Lady Proxima's gang. The blistered Proxima was displeased of her actions, opting to sell Qi'ra away. She was sold to a slave dealer, Sarkin Deneb, and later Dryden Voss, the leader of Crimson Dawn. After a year of failed escapes, she attempted to do so yet again, killing the guard outside her cell and reaching the escape pods, only to find Voss waiting. He offered her a position within the ranks of Crimson Dawn, having seen potential within her, but he demanded her lifelong loyalty in return. Voss later branded Qi'ra's forearm and the back of her neck with the Crimson Dawn symbol. Qi'ra also hunted down and killed Eneb. With Crimson Dawn, Qi'ra lived a more opulent lifestyle, becoming Voss's top lieutenant. She was trained by Voss in the martial arts of Terraskisi. Qi'ra's association with Crimson Dawn brought her back into contact with Solo, who was working with Voss' associate Tobias Beckett in order to obtain a large quantity of refined coaxium. Qi'ra attended the meeting between Voss, Beckett, and Solo on Voss's yacht. Voss berated Beckett and Solo for failing to obtain the coaxium shipment on Vendor, and considering killing them until Solo suggested that they instead retrieve unrefined coaxium from the spice mines of Kessel. Qi'ra advised Voss that the plan would work, and he agreed to allow Beckett to try, the penalty for failure being death. Voss sent Qi'ra to accompany Beckett's crew to make sure the plan would work. Knowing that they would need a particularly fast ship to transport their unrefined coaxium before it degraded and detonated, Qi'ra sought her old acquaintance, Captain Lando Calrissian of the Millennium Falcon. Qi'ra watched as Solo failed to win the Falcon at Sabak. However, Calrissian agreed to fly the Falcon for Qi'ra, Beckett, and Solo in exchange for a cut of the profits. En route to Kessel, Qi'ra and Solo rekindled their romance, kissing on the back of the Falcon. Upon arriving at Kessel, Qi'ra masqueraded as a slaver from the Federation of Trade Route Allocation and Monetization, Oksana Florin, selling Han and Chewbacca to key Tolside of Pike Syndicate in order to infiltrate the mines. Qi'ra, Beckett, and L337 secured a control room, allowing Solo to steal the coaxium. Qi'ra initially served as Solo's co-pilot during the escape from Kessel, but was replaced by Chewbacca as they fled from Imperial forces into the Acades Maelstrom, after using some of their stolen coaxium to escape the Summa Verminoth. The crew flew the damaged ship and arrived on Savareen. On Savareen, the Falcon crew refined the coaxium and awaited Voss's arrival. Calrissian soon left, angry with Solo for damage to his ship. They were confronted by Enfys Nest, leader of the Cloud Raiders, who told them they were freedom fighters resisting the atrocities of Crimson Dawn, not pirates. Solo devised a plan to give Voss fake coaxium and give the Cloud Raiders the real coaxium in order to fund their resistance. Qi'ra, Solo, and Chewbacca presented the coaxium to Voss aboard his yacht, but he saw through their plan made aware in advance by Beckett, who had been Voss's double agent all along. Voss expressed his disappointment that Qi'ra betrayed him and realized that Solo was her weakness. However, Solo foresaw Beckett's treachery and double-crossed him. The coaxium containers left with the Cloud Raiders were empty, and Effie's nest dispatched the Crimson Dawn agents sent to recover it. The coaxium they brought along was, in fact, genuine. Beckett captured Chewbacca and left with the coaxium. Voss and Solo fought, but Qi'ra intervened, holding Solo at sword point. However, Qi'ra sided with Solo, dueling and killing Voss. Solo left to rescue Chewbacca and retrieve the coaxium from the Cloud Raiders. Qi'ra told Solo she would be right behind him, but as Solo left, she instead took Voss's ring and used it to contact Maul, the actual leader of Crimson Dawn, informing him that Voss had failed to obtain the coaxium after lying that Beckett had in fact killed Voss. Qi'ra was then ordered to bring the yacht to Dathomir, Maul's home world, and that she would be working more closely with Maul. Leaving Solo behind, Qi'ra then assumed Voss's role as public figurehead of Crimson Dawn. In the following years, while Qi'ra would manage to survive, Maul was separated from the rest of the galaxy after being stranded on the Outer Rim planet Malachor. Later, Maul was slain on the Outer Rim world of Tatooine. Crimson Dawn was also thought to be destroyed by its rivals like Blackstone and the Pike Syndicate. Qi'ra, earning the title of Lady, came to control the remains of Crimson Dawn, plotting to use it in order to save herself from danger. Qi'ra was trained in the art of Terraskasi by Voss and later Maul. Her skill as a swordsman has evolved so much over time she could also wield a blaster. As a member of the Crimson Dawn, Qi'ra wielded an S-195 blaster pistol. After the death of Voss, she took control of his starship, First Light. When she served as leader of Crimson Dawn, Qi'ra wore a white cloak that could hide her identity and with its hood. As leader, she also had the resources of Crimson Dawn at her command. In combat, Qi'ra wielded two Electro Sword weapons, which are capable of clashing with a lightsaber without being damaged. She came to control the remains of Crimson Dawn, plotting to use it in order to save herself from danger and to set the stage for a syndicate war she could use to take out Palpatine and Vader. Learning that Solo had been frozen in carbonite after becoming important to the Alliance to restore the Republic, the Empire, the Hutt clan, and other major powers, Qi'ra had several of her agents, under the leadership of Margo, capture the carbonite block from the notorious bounty hunter Boba Fett, from Dr. Ragon on the moon of Nar Shaddaa. As Ragon had stabilized the carbonite, Solo remained alive as the ancients transferred him to Qi'ra's starship, Vermilion, where Qi'ra, wearing a hood that covered her face, greeted Margo and Trinia and learned Solo would likely remain alive. Understanding that their operation could therefore begin, Qi'ra ordered that pre-recorded invitations be sent out and tried to quell Margo's concerns about Fett coming after them. With the hood covering her face to keep her identity secret, Qi'ra's hologram message was sent out to various parties, including Crime Lord Jabba the Hutt on the planet Tatooine and the rest of the Grand Hutt Council. In her message to Jabba, she announced the return of Crimson Dawn but claimed they would cause no friction with the galaxy's major powers, inviting him to the frozen mid-rim planet Jakara and offering Solo as a gesture of goodwill. As Jabba traveled to Jakira aboard his Shadow war barge, Fett, who had received a bounty on his head after Jabba mistakenly believed that he sold Solo to Crimson Dawn, also began to journey to the planet after viewing the message Jabba received. The message was received by Senna Staros and Dr. Gali Luna Afra. She also made sure the message ended up in the hands of the rebel ancient named Emilian Holdo, who would deliver the message to the wider rebellion. Qi'ra truly hoped that Solo would end back with the people he loved, yet she was unwilling to simply deliver him back to the rebels. She saw her wider plans to be more important than the happiness of individuals. As such, in her opinion, she did everything she could to ensure she could use Solo as bait, while also setting the stage for the rebels to reclaim him. Meanwhile, with the message out, the Vermilion landed on Chikara. After landing, Qi'ra explained Solo's importance to galactic powers to Margot. Understanding that their guests would soon arrive, Qi'ra, finally putting down her hood, reflected that Solo would finally have a chance to save her. As she departed the room, she ordered Margot to finalize their preparations. As the various syndicates began to arrive at the Vermilion, Qi'ra looked out at the crowd with Margot beside her. Margot pointed out that she seemed to be pleased with Qi'ra, which Qi'ra confirmed, saying that she loved a good party. Once all the bidders had arrived, Qi'ra thanked the syndicates for coming as she introduced herself and officially announced Crimson Dawn's return. She then revealed Solo to the crowd and started the bidding at 100,000 credits. After multiple bids from different parties, the present members of the Hutt clan began to bid over one another and increasingly higher offers, but this soon ended when Jabba the Hutt bid with 1,000,000 credits. With no other bids, Qi'ra congratulated Jabba and told him that the smuggler was his. However, the auction was then interrupted by the arrival of Darth Vader, guarded by 2 Death Troopers. Vader declared that Solo belonged to him, to which Qi'ra smiled and decided to see where this would go. As Vader argued with Jabba over Solo, Margot asked Qi'ra how the Sith learned about the auction. Qi'ra, however, replied that it didn't matter and remarked that she knew how to handle a Sith Lord. After Jabba agreed to relinquish Solo to the Empire, Qi'ra told Vader she would not interfere, but still required that 1,000,000 credits promised to her. When Vader told her she was owed nothing, Qi'ra asked him if the Empire was too poor or cheap to pay its debts. This spurred Vader to ignite his lightsaber, to which Qi'ra bared her own pair of blades, intending to distract Vader so rebel agents present at the auction had a chance to reclaim Solo. However, those agents were instead caught in a battle with Boba Fett, who had arrived to reclaim Solo as well. During the ensuing duel, Vader recognized Qi'ra's fighting style and inquired as to who had trained her, to which Qi'ra simply said somebody who knew quite a bit about both Vader and his master. Noting that she did not have the Force and that her training would not save her, Vader used the Force to push Qi'ra back after a quick struggle, knocking her into Solo. His opponents subdued, Vader prepared to kill Qi'ra before he was distracted by the arrival of his son, Luke Skywalker. As Qi'ra retreated with Margot, she admitted that she may have been a bit overconfident with confronting the Sith. She then conceded that Vader was going to take Solo and reminded Margot of what she would have to do. Amidst the commotion on the ship, Qi'ra returned to one of her personal art galleries and studied a necklace confiscated from one of the interlopers at the auction, remarking that the amount of data stored within it would be priceless. She then told Margot to make sure that it would be secure on her absence. Returning to the gallery shortly after, Qi'ra explained to Margot that this both was and wasn't what she expected to happen. Though Vader's arrival hadn't been planned, the fact that Qi'ra fought him herself showed the galaxy that Crimson Dawn would not back down and would not obey the Empire. Qi'ra then told Margot to leave her as she still had many messages to send and strings to pull. Soon after, she was watching from the Vermilion as the last remnants of the battle between the Hutt Council and the Empire came to a close. As Vukorath was brought into the room by Margot, Qi'ra noted the beauty in the demonstration of how the Hutts had shown the Empire's vulnerability. As their conversation continued, Qi'ra explained that Crimson Dawn would have to crush the syndicates that stood in her way. Qi'ra then emphasized that she wanted Bokura, who led by Crimson Dawn's side, as the leader of the Unbroken clan. Qi'ra then had Margot open a box which contained something which would supposedly help Bokura claim leadership of the clan. Bokura had pledged her allegiance to Crimson Dawn's cause. After Boba Fett had regained Solo and returned him to Jabba, Qi'ra explained to her followers that the dawn had come and the real work would now begin. As they had successfully escalated tensions between the Empire and Hutts, she then told them to await the rain. She met with more of her associates, including Ren and his knights. That's all for now. Until next time, please click like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell in order to be notified of my latest videos. Until the next time, may the Force be with you.